Hello, hello. This is another episode of the WIT podcast. And you can tell I am on the road. And we talked about that in a previous episode that I'll be recording around the country a lot this year. But every episode, I will stay consistent in wanting to make sure that you have at least three things that you can take away from and use in your life, and hopefully make it easier for you to do WIT in your life. I'm doing solo episodes until we decide to finally release our guest episodes. I am really enjoying talking to so many different people and hearing their stories. I have to say that the power of people telling their stories and their experiences does make you feel less alone. It does make you feel like there's light at the end of the tunnel, that maybe if you're going through something, you hear somebody else share one of their experiences and then you go, okay, cool, that's good, that could happen for me too. So those stories and conversations are coming up soon, but in the meantime, I'm staying consistent with releasing a podcast episode every week. And this week I thought I would talk a little bit about something that I wrote about this week. So I also have a Today Show blog that I write every week. I release on Tuesdays. And a few weeks ago, I wrote about 15 lessons learned with running WIT, my nonprofit that I run for 15 years, that I've been running for 15 years. And this week I talked about ego. And I wrote about ego and the importance of checking your ego. And I wanted to share one of the most important lessons I've learned around ego. Sure, I've learned, you know, you don't want to lead with your ego. You want to listen. You want to ask questions. You don't want to act like you have all the answers when you don't have all the answers. Those are things that I for sure did early on in starting WIT, because I think I just was insecure about doing something I've never done before. I didn't go to school to become a nonprofit founder. I don't have an MBA. I didn't have a lot of the experience that people around me had. But ultimately, I think that actually worked to my advantage. Didn't know what I didn't know. And that was probably good that I didn't have tons of schooling around the topic of the life that I went on to create. But I would say it was hard for me in the beginning to listen to people because I wanted to just be right. I wanted to have the answers. I didn't want to look stupid. Gratefully, that phase was very brief, and I'm somebody who loves to ask questions and stay curious and surround myself with people that are definitely smarter than me and learn from them. So if you're feeling like, if you're somebody who's a founder or even in anything in your life, it could be that you're starting a job in a new career path and you don't know what you don't know, find somebody who's gone before you. I was even thinking about talking about this, but it's making me think about this girl, Kara, who I worked with very early on in my career in film and TV. I was working at a production company called Artisan Entertainment. And I had a temp job had turned into a full-time job. And there were things I just did not know, but I had such an amazing boss, Gwen. She's still my most favorite boss to this day. And because she taught me so much, I didn't know things, and I knew I wanted to look good, honestly, in front of Gwen. I didn't want to look like I didn't know what I was doing, but I couldn't get all my work done in the hours that I was supposed to get it done. And so I would stay late. And this woman, Kara, she was much higher up. She was one of the attorneys for the production company. She would stay with me, or she'd come over to my cubicle and she would give me some pro tips and help me with certain things. And she didn't have to do that. And I'm so grateful she did. And I'm really grateful that I asked for the help, because soon I found my rhythm and I was able to stay on top of my tasks and even go above and beyond. And that led to another career path. So all good things there, but I definitely didn't know what I was doing. But I didn't want to admit that. And gratefully, I found somebody, Kara. Shout out to Kara. Probably send this episode to her. I haven't talked to her in a long time. And for her coming over to my cubicle, staying late, and helping me out, really appreciate that. So in that way, that was an example of my ego not keeping me from getting help. a way that my ego in the past has hindered me and hindered WIT and hindered my team is when it was really hard for me to admit that I had made a bad hire. I would keep people on the team much, much longer than they should have been. And I would just pour all my energy and emotion really into trying to make it work. And I'd put up with like half-ass work from these people. But I would think, oh, it must be me. It must be me. So it must be WIT. So I'm going to just keep like trying this and trying this and trying that. And I also just didn't want to admit that I messed up again because hiring was a really hard thing for me to do. I would, I think my biggest issue was that I wanted to give people a chance. And that I think that's because, oh my gosh, I'm talking about this. I think that's because I was really grateful for people that gave me a chance for that job back at Artisan Entertainment. I wasn't qualified for that job, and somebody gave me a chance. When I moved on to another job in film, I got a job where I had zero experience on set, and someone took a chance on me, and I was so grateful, and I busted my butt when I got those opportunities. And I think I thought in some of these experiences, these hires for WIT, that I want to give a chance. I want to pay it forward and give a chance on people. And I think what was lacking was discernment, because I think that is a really good thing. I think it is important to take a chance on people. And I think that sometimes people just don't have certain experience, because how do you get experience? Like sometimes you just don't have it. And so you need people to say like, okay, I know your resume doesn't look like how we want it to look like, but I like you. I like your hustle. I like how you're showing up in this conversation or in the passion that you have for this work. So let me give you a chance. I think that's definitely something that leaders should do. We should give a chance on people. But I think the thing that was missing was my ego not being in check, because I was not wanting to admit that I was wrong. And my discernment was, that wasn't dialed in. And gratefully, the adjustments have been made to both of those things. I'm happy to admit when I'm wrong about something. When it comes to hiring, I really know how to get the right people together before I want to make a move like that, and have them help me find the right fit. And then discernment, I think if you're somebody who tends to lean towards I just want to give people a chance, or okay, yeah, I know they messed up, but let's let them try again, and maybe we can try again. That could be a problem. Some people don't deserve that many chances. And I remember one person that I gave so many chances to ended up taking money from the company by charging us for hours that they didn't work. We found out later, and I tried so hard with that person. And the thing is, it wasn't the right fit for either one of us. And the wise thing would have been to let this person go way before that time. And it would have been a lot better for the organization. It would have been a lot better for the rest of the team. And it would have been a lot better for the people that we serve, because instead of me being focused on this incorrect hire, I would have been more focused on the business and our customers and serving them well. So check that ego. Check in the areas of your life where you're afraid to ask for help because you don't want to look stupid. That's just ego. And check yourself in the areas where you don't want to admit that you're wrong, because you may be perpetuating a situation or a pattern or a circumstance just because you don't want to admit that you're wrong. And the thing is, especially if you're a leader, especially if you decide to run your own thing, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. And the faster we can admit them and do differently and do better, then the better we can serve the people that we set out to serve, because we're not distracted by all this other stuff. And ultimately, I think the goal is to serve your people well, both your team and your customers. And we just don't want the ego to get in the way of that. Okay, well, that's all I want to share. I kind of shared more than I thought I would, but hopefully it's helpful. And hopefully you found something that you can take away or apply right now to your life to help you do whatever it takes. And when we do whatever it takes, it means we show up for ourselves fully, we show up for others fully. We just do WIT. So until next time, keep doing WIT.